Hi, this is Robert Klein, and this is The Art of Fighting. Maybe the only thing more interesting than Japanese martial arts are ancient Japanese weapons. Today you'll see firsthand the weapons of the samurai and the ninja as we take you on tour of a super interesting mini weapons museum in Kawagoe, Japan, a small city outside of Tokyo. You will see for yourself the incredible influence of Japanese samurai culture on George Lucas and the Star Wars series. Find out which weapons killed the most. Surprisingly, it's not the sword.
The first Star Wars was based on the Akira Kurosawa film Hidden Fortress, which was about a princess and two useless guys that helped her out. So Han Solo and the other guy.
Yes.
Here's a very Darth Vader's looking helmet. It's made in steel, unlike the other helmets, which were more lacquer. Once again, you see the very Darth Vader-ish shape. Here's a helmet with literally a gremlin head on top.
These armored faceplates are not only beautiful, they are also critical. Because of the effectiveness of samurai armor, archers traditionally shot at the face, and most generals were killed by face shots. As is often the case with Japanese weaponry, beauty and function are one.
Here's a tachi, which is a cavalry sword. This is different than the katana, that it was made to be used by one hand, and it was made to be used on horseback. So it's lighter, it has a better balance, and it's made to swing and slash. It's almost primarily a slashing weapon, as opposed to the katana, which was both a stabbing and slashing weapon. Pretty blade.
I think it's been shaped a lot, reshaped a lot, been used.
So this one has dead men's spirit on it.
These throwing weapons are collectively known as shuriken, and they were the close quarters projectiles of their age, kind of like a samurai version of the pistol. The longer shuriken were made to penetrate deeply and could kill, but required a high level of skill. The circular shuriken were primarily used to distract or fluster an opponent in order to escape and were relatively more simple to use. These taks, or koltrops, or tetsubushi, were also used to stop a pursuing man or horse.
Okay, so this is a matchlock. See here? This hole right here is the pan, and this is where you put the charge. And this has an elegant little guard, which actually keeps the powder from getting wet in rain. The rope would ignite the charge of powder here, which would go in here and ignite the main charge of powder. Because they had armor, they actually held it more against their face than against their shoulder like a Western rifle. So when the recoil actually went back this way. It's very difficult. I don't quite get how they did this. And here's the rope that you use for your matchlock. So here you go. Rope, small powder flask, larger powder flask, ancient balls ranging from about 150 caliber to about 30 caliber, and the lead molding equipment, and of course the rifle itself. And this is the same matchlock rifles. This is also a matchlock rifle.
Here our host teaches us about the different kinds of threats with a samurai sword.
I just push open the blade with my thumb. No, ora! Behave. So this is shark skin or stingray skin?
It's a shark skin.
Shark skin.
Here's a simple guard. There are three purposes to the guard, basically. One is to protect yourself from an attack of another sword. Another is to keep your hands from sliding onto the blade and cutting your fingers off. And thirdly, it is to give your blade the kind of weight and balance you prefer. This slashing spear is called the naginata. It is probably my favorite weapon. It was originally the weapon of the warrior priests and later became the weapon of the samurai and was the preferred tool of the female fighter. It could easily dismount a rider and could be used to keep a stronger adversary at a distance. It was very effective at slashing legs. This naginata has not only a beautiful blade, but this exquisitely beautiful lacquered handle.
In terms of lethalness, the bow was the most lethal apparently in Japanese weaponry, followed by the spear. The first spear we showed you was actually a stabbing spear, and this spear, as you can see by this elaborate curved blade, is a slashing spear.
For a short while at least, the biggest killer was the matchlock gun, although not by a huge lead. In terms of accuracy, the matchlock or arquebus was worse than any bow. However, it was more powerful, and a gunman could carry far more ammunition than an archer could carry arrows. It also had a heavier psychological impact on enemy horses and men. By far, the biggest advantage of the gun was that it was easier to learn how to use. The biggest downside of the arquebus or the gun was they're unreliable, especially in wet weather. Their lit matches could easily be seen at night, and occasionally they exploded in the gunner's face. Japan's medieval history with the gun is rather interesting. They were introduced by the Portuguese in 1543. By 1553, there were more guns per capita in Japan than anywhere else in the world. By 1600, Japan made the best guns in the world. And about 5 years later, they were banned completely, not to really reappear in any form for about 250 years. It is one of the most unique examples of voluntarily renouncing a highly effective weapons technology in human history.
The dragon's claw.
I'm your host, Robert Klein, and this is The Art of Fighting.